Hello, welcome back to my channel. It's your girl Lomzy. I'm back again with another video. Today's video is actually a gift from me to you for Christmas. Yeah, there is love in sharing. You can also share my Christmas gifts with me. Find a way to share my free Christmas gifts with me. Today's tutorial is how to make a Kaftan Bubu with Cowl Side seam. This sewing tutorial is actually an easy one to do, so even beginners can do this. So this sewing tutorial is actually sewing for beginners. If that's what you're looking for, consider watching till the end so that you know how I made this gorgeous abaya kaftan or bubu kaftan, anyone you feel like calling it. Now let's go into today's video. We will start by making the neckline. So I'm going to be using this paper gum stay. In Nigeria we call it paper gum stay. It looks like paper although it has gum on it. So I'm going to fold it into two like this and fold it again. If you want it to be double, you can again fold it again. This way you're going to be getting 4 times. But if you want it to be 2, you just leave it like this. So it will be for front and the back. So I'm going to be using a paper to demonstrate this. So I'm going to fold my paper like this. It will give me one when I fold it like this, but I just want to show you what I'm going to be doing. So after folding it, this side is the open side and this side unfold is the center front and the center back. So we are going to be marking the neckline. The neckline I'm going to be using is 3 inches and I'm going to mark it here. The neck depth, you don't really need a neck depth for this, but let me just give an example. 1 inch we are using here, but I'm not going to be using it. I'm only using the neck width. So next is to get the shoulder length. The shoulder length I'm going to be working with is 8.5. I got this 8.5 by dividing the shoulder by 2. The shoulder width I'm working with is 17 inches divided by 2. That will give me 8.5. And I will drop it down here. I'm supposed to go down, but let me just mark it down here. I'm not going down for this tutorial. So I'm going to get my shoulder sloping 2.5 inches and I'll mark it here. I'm going to connect it to this line, this neckline. Next, I'm going to get the length of the neckline we're working with, and which is 12 inches. So I'm going to take it down. This 12 inches, you have to note this measurement. So I'm going to measure it and connect it like so. So note this line that we have marked here. Next, I'm going to be going to the actual width of the neckline. Now I'm going to make the actual width of the neckline 5 inches, and I'm going to come down. The neck depth I'm using, I'm going to be making it 7 inches. Then I will connect these 2 lines to make the V neckline. After connecting it straight on a straight line, you can decide to curve it to give it a nice silhouette. So next I'm going to go is the width of the neckline. So the width of the neckline I will use will be 3 inches. I will just curve this like so to give the design of the neckline I want. So this is the neckline we are going to be using. I'll cut this out. So this is what you're going to be cutting out from your paper gum stay. You cut 4 pieces for the back and the front. Next, I'm going to show you how to fold the fabric. This fabric is 5 yards and I'm going to fold it yardage side. I'm going to be folding it into 2. So just watch what I'm going to do. This side I'm holding is the yardage, which is 5 yards, and when I fold it into 2, it will be 2.5 yards. So I'll fold it like this and then fold it again width wise. So this is what I'm going to go ahead and cut on a smaller pattern so that you'll be able to see what I'm doing. So this is a smaller version of that thing I have just shown you now. So I folded it in 4 like this. This is it after folding it in 2. And I went ahead and folded it again 4 times width wise. Remember I said this is 5 yards. So the length of this is now 2.5 yards. From one end of the fabric, I'm going to measure the full length of the dress that I'm working with. I'm working with 58 inches. So that's what I'm going to measure here. 58 inches full length of the dress. Now this line will be the shoulder line. So from this to this place is the length of the dress. We will get the length of the neckline, of the V neckline. So from this shoulder line, we will take down that 12 inches that we use as the neckline, the length of the neckline. So I'm going to mark it here, 12 inches. And I'm going to be placing this neckline that we have drafted from the 12 inches, and I'm going to draw the shape of the V. I'll just continue drawing it upwards, just like you see me do. So how I got the length you have up is by multiplying this neckline into 4. So this neckline now, I times it by 4, and that's how I got the upper part. If you want to be 2 or 3 or anything, you can do it, but mine I made it 4 times. So let me show you what I mean. This is from there, this is 2, this is 3. Remember I already have 1 here, so let me count it again. This is 1, this is 2, this is 3, and this is the 4th one. So 4 times that neckline is what I have there. So on this shoulder line, I'm going to be getting the sleeve length, and my sleeve I'm using is round my elbow line. So here I'm going to take whatever I have as my elbow line, I'm going to divide that by 2. Whatever I get is what I'm going to be marking here, and I'll be adding sewing allowance to that. So I'm going to go over to the down part and get the hip line. I'm going to mark the hip line. On this hip line, that's where I'm going to be taking the shape of the bubu. So on this hip line, I'm going to mark 14 inches. I'm sorry I did this off camera. I thought my camera was rolling. So let me show you what I did. From here, I got the hip line. And on this hip line, I marked 14 inches. So the width here is 14 inches. This 14 inches continues all the way down. So this is 14 inches all the way down like that. And from that edge, I now made the shape of the bubu. Now we'll go over to the sewing of the whole thing. So first, I have gummed my neckline on the fabric that I'm using. Right sides fitting together, I have the lining that I'm going to use and turn it. So I'm going to go to my machine and sew the inner part of the V neckline. Remember I left 1 inch as my sewing allowance, so I'm going to also leave that on the neckline of the placket or whatever. So I will go and sew the V like that. So I'm done sewing that. I stitched just at the edge of this As you can see, I didn't sew this place, I sewed just at this edge like that. So I'm going to cut off all the excess. Now remove the pins and go over and understitch this. So I'll turn it over like this, go to my machine and then understitch it here. So before I do that, I'm going to show you a tip that will be very important to you. Here I'll apply my hemming gum to this place and then sew top stitch it. With this, it will make my V neckline to come out very neat. As you can see, I have done that. So once I turn it over and iron it, this will be looking very neat. If you have a steam iron, you can use your steam iron. If you don't have, you can just use your spray water on your fabric and then iron on it. After ironing it, then you can now cut off and remain half-inch sewing allowance all around it. Now I have gathered the main bodies, as you can see how it is. So I'll go to my machine. This is the wrong side and this side is the upper side. So I'll turn my fabric this way. So now right side facing the wrong side, I will just join this thing and sew it all around. You can go ahead and pin it first before you now sew and turn it over like this. So let me go and do that so that you understand what I mean. Now I have stitched one side of it. So now the back is looking very neat. I will turn it over to the front and I'm going to, use the upper part and close it like this. So for me to close this, I'm going to pin it down so that it will be neat. I'll pin it down and arrange it the way I want it to be. Just arrange it properly the way you want it looking on your dress. After arranging it like this, you go to your machine and sew from the tip. Just sew at the tip like that all the way around. I'm done sewing the back and the front. Now I'm going to join the sleeve. So first of all, I'm going to close the shoulder. So you see this notch here. I'm going to close it all the way with 1 inch. I would just exceed by half an inch. So look at it after sewing it. As you can see, then I have exceeded with ½ inch like that. So I'm going to go to my machine and hem it. So I will close it like this and close again, and then I will stitch it. So at the edge here, when I stitch it, when I get to this place, if I stitch it and stop here, turn my machine and fold the other side again and stitch and continue. I hope I'm making sense. So let me just show you again. I'll fold this like so, stitch it from the edge. When I get here, I stop, turn my fabric, stitch it again. I stitch it again and fold this side, stitch it and fold, and sew it all the way up. So let me do that and show you. That's what I've been trying to explain all this while. So look at it folded into two. See how neat it is. That place is the sleeve. So I will go ahead and close this place. This place is now the side seam. So I'll close this place. I've already done it on the other side. So let me show you what I mean. So on the other side, I have sewn it. That place we made is where the arm will come out. So I'll go ahead and finish up the other side, and that will be it, guys. With this, we have come to the end of today's sewing tutorial. If you haven't subscribed, go ahead and subscribe and hit on the notification bell icon so you don't miss any of my videos. Guys, remember, this is my Christmas gift to you. As you can see, the color is also Christmas color. So enjoy this season. Bye. See you on my next video. Remember to subscribe and hit on the notification bell icon.